Recording.
Every athlete wants to be the best and fastest competitor that they can be. And sometimes a mere tenth of a second can make a significant difference in sports. So in volleyball, plays and decisions are made sometimes within 1 second that can either gain a point or even lose a point. So I am going to demonstrate for you today a swing block and how that is different than a traditional block and how you can be even faster. The 2011 issue of Journal of Sports Science and Medicine, authors Neves, Johnson, Myrer, and Seeley, did an experiment and found that the footwork of a swing block is faster than a traditional block. In addition, the verticals were higher, and lastly, the hand penetration was even faster and greater than in a traditional block. So hopefully, with the research that I've done, and I've actually implemented it into my own research, into my own blocking, as well as talking to other coaches who've done it, I've found personally that it has improved my blocking and those who have also implemented it in their coaching. So I've broken it down into three main components. First is the footwork, second is our arm momentum, and lastly the hand penetration. So let's begin with the footwork. This is probably the biggest difference between a traditional block and a swing block, because the first step, you're going to use your outside leg. So if I'm going to my right, I'm going to step with my right. So I even have drawn an illustration. So the first step is simply moving in the direction that you want to go. And the second step is after you've moved in the direction, you're going to actually point towards the pole. Instead of being facing towards the net, you're going to face towards the pole that's holding up the net. This is the picture of our pole. And lastly, the third step is going to simply just be parallel with that second step. And so that's different than a traditional block because you're facing slightly at an angle instead of facing straight at the net and shuffling. So once again, it's a step in the direction that you're going, then at an angle towards the pole, and lastly with your foot being parallel. The next step is our arms, and this is happening simultaneously with our footwork. So the first part is that your arms are at ready position, and then as you take that step, they're going to go down and back. And you're going to put it as back as far as is comfortable, but being farther back is going to help give that momentum. The second part is where you change your momentum. So in those last two steps, your arm momentum is going to change from being back here, and instead of going sideways into either the person you're blocking next to or out, you're going to change your momentum to go straight up by bringing your arms, so instead of going horizontally, you're going to go up vertically by bringing your arms straight up. And the last part is where you're rotating. Since we're facing towards the pole, we want to change our momentum up, and we want our bodies to be against parallel to the net. And so that last part is pushing outward. We don't want to push up, because if you're simply putting up, then the ball is going to shank off of your hands and not stay on the opponent's side of the net. And so that last step is pushing out instead of simply up. And that's our arm momentum. The last thing is our hands, and that's the part that is actually contacting the ball, right? So the ball, we want to keep it on their side of the net, and so to do that, I'm going to have Tasha come up here and demonstrate that your hands are going to be in the shape of the ball. So if you can put your hands straight up for me, and instead of just going up and out, you want them to be big and in the shape of a volleyball, so that you're keeping the ball on the opponent's side. And the other thing is, as you're pushing your arms out over the net, you're going to implement a shoulder shrug. And this, as you can see, as she flexes her shoulders, her hands are actually increasing. So if you release again, like she's increasing almost like a whole entire inch when she shrugs her shoulder, and that's going to give you what you want to be penetrating over the net. Thank you, Tasha. So those are our three steps. We have our feet work that are going to carry us in the direction, and then our arm momentum that will help change the momentum from going outward to up and get you that height that you need and the power that you need. And lastly, your hands being big, keeping the ball on their side of the net, as well as your hands and your everything reaching over the net, and your shoulders are part of that. So I hope that you will implement that not only in your own blocking, but also sharing it with others so that you can increase their blocks, because points can be won or lost depending on simply a mere inch or a mere tenth of a second. So I hope you learned something today. Thank you.